Well, howdy. Here we are into December. Year's almost over. Well, 30 days and we're done. Done like dinner, right? Craziness is still continuing, and I think, as we look, whatever country you're in, I think the lesson we have to learn is that we've got to pay attention. We have to be more involved in watching what our governments are doing, whether at the local level, the provincial or state level, city level, or federally. And I don't care what country you're in, we have to do that. Because obviously if we don't do that, the left wing nuts or the right wing nuts take over. And we have what we have right now. We watched Australia and New Zealand using just really mean, miserable tactics, arresting pregnant women in their homes in their pajamas, throwing women onto the pavement because they weren't wearing a mask. You look at England, if the cops weren't running away from the Black Lives Matter protesters who were tearing down statues and defacing other things, or they were kneeling. And now we look at peaceful protesters saying, look, we think your stats we figured it out. You're giving us bullshit stats. You're giving us bullshit information. The World Health Organization doesn't know what the hell they're doing. We want to go back to work. We want our lives back. And what are they doing? They're doing the same as they did in Australia. These are peaceful protesters just standing there. And they're tackling them, arresting them. I think they arrested 150 the other day in England, in London. People who just want to say, enough is enough, let's get back to work. When we look in any country, if we're not paying attention, and I think this is a great lesson for anybody who has two brain cells to rub together that'll create a circuit, we have to pay more attention. We have to hold our politicians and elected officials and bureaucrats more accountable. We can't say, well, we've elected some people, they'll look after it, we'll go on and do our thing. It's not working that way, obviously. You look in the States, it is so damn corrupt from the top echelon, from judges to prosecutors, lawyers, politicians, all the way on down to people working in voting booths. And some people are accepting that as normal. The left idiots down there have taken control, working with foreign governments. And I know some are saying, what do you mean working with foreign governments? Well, you haven't been paying attention if you don't know that. And I think we have to really pay more attention. We can't keep blaming everybody else. It's us. We've got to say, okay, why are you doing that? Canada is no different. Our government, Freeland, our finance minister, Trudeau, our prime minister, what the hell are they doing? Taking lessons from Soros. And we're standing by and letting them do that. Nobody's holding their feet to the fire. Our opposition is as lame duck as ever. The Conservatives are going on and on about no vaccination. And who in the hell wants a vaccination that's been rushed through in 10 months? Nobody is liable if you get sick or if you get paralyzed or if your kid dies. Yeah, who cares about that? We don't really need that. We want to know why they're screwing around, how there's 13 contracts, they don't know what happened to them, where the money is. The WE scandal, why was that swept under the rug? The SC-Lavalin fiasco, why was that swept under the rug? And then of course the NDP, the left-wingers, they want more money, more control over people. So if we don't in Canada, really get serious, we're sort of really at the edge of the cliff. I think there's still time to stop these assholes, but if we don't all get together and say enough is enough is enough, because our police are acting the same way. When anybody is under a Black Lives Matter Lives Matter banner and they're protesting, want to take statues down. That people, governments are saying maybe we should put that in a museum or hide that or cover it up. Why? They're letting those people roll. Our Prime Minister knelt with these assholes, much like the British cops. And now when you look at a guy who wants to have his restaurant open just down the street from a Walmart or Costco that's opened, him and his customers get roughed up and treated badly. And a real cool thing, if any cop is watching this, how do you lose respect for your profession? By being a twit, that's why. By being a total asshole. When you should be sort of putting some muscle on people, you stand back and kneel or sort of acknowledge what they're doing. Or like in Britain, run away. And if you haven't been paying attention, you can find out, you can Google that, look back in the archives, you'll find a lot of people have had that on the blog where the cops just went running down the street. It's sort of crazy. So countries have lost themselves, and it's not the countries that lost themselves, it's the citizens. We have put up with too much bullshit for too long. So I think we have to stand up and say enough is enough. And when we elect somebody, we should be able to hold their feet to the fire. We have to have more control over that. I mean, we're not electing people to go and pad their pockets and become millionaires by becoming politicians. To have a nice, cozy life, whether they're a politician or a bureaucrat, we have to let them know that they're being in public service. That means being of service, not being dictators to the public. And I think whether it's your local building inspector or your premier or your mayor or your governor, whatever the hell, we should be able to stand up and say, look, enough is enough. And we want police officers to be chasing robbers, bandits, drug dealers, all the people doing shit-ass stuff, not citizens asking legitimate questions. It's crazy. And I think we have to, if we don't do that, we're really totally hooped. We're totally hooped. We're going to become citizens like that in China, in North Korea, in these dictatorships where you do as we say, or you go to retraining. The States is already talking about that. Should Bumblestiltskin Biden get in, we're sort of hooped. Totally, totally hooped. And in Canada, we can't even do they've taken all of our guns away. Why do you think they've done that? Because they know that people are going to say enough is enough and they don't want you to be able to fire back. But I think we really have to get serious. That's me and that's you and that's everybody who really cares. Because we have the left-wing twits who have no idea about anything. They're off on a climate change, ice age, whatever the people throw down to them. You know, the next thing they're going to say is we're being attacked by aliens. It's going to be like War of the Worlds way back in the early part of last century. And people were panicking. You see, people would do the same thing today. If CNN said we're being attacked, there'd be panic. People would be hiding in their basements, digging holes under their houses to hide away from it all. So we have to use our brains and we have to think and we have to pay attention. Because where we're at now, government in a democracy is for the people. It's the people. And we've let that fritter away and let guys go on to our city capitals or our city halls and just sort of do whatever they want to do. It's not their business. Their business is do the business of the people, for the country, not for globalism, not for some other country, for their country. And if we're rolling and we're well, sure we can help other people. Our Prime Minister is funding money all over the damn place and more worried about the World Economic Organization, the globalist organization, than he is about Canada. Doesn't give a shit about Canada. And obviously Boris Johnson is the same way. Morrison in Australia, same way. So we have to take control. And I don't know how we do it, but there's more of us than there is of them. And like I say, this shoddy voting, I mean, we just cannot put up with that anymore. And we turn the blind eye. They're telling you got to accept this in the States. You got to accept this. It's doing harm to our country. And it's going to do harm to our Constitution. We got to follow the procedure. He won, so if he cheated, so what? That is bogus. That is bogus. You cannot let these gypsies, tramps, and thieves carry on like they're doing. I suppose that's all for now. I'll put a couple of clips in the discussion part. And again, if something happens on BitChute, they're getting pressured by all of the other three stooges trying to dismantle them, because a lot of people are joining Parler and joining BitChute. So if something happens with that site, still have my own dreamingdude.com is the last resort. Take care. Bye for now. See you tomorrow.